is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
To return some videotapes. 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 Videotapes.
Welcome back to Strange Glow Video on the Ecto Violence channel. I'm Alec, and that's Justin, and that's Yoshi's ass.
And Alec's video is frozen, so hopefully I can see him move around in a second. But yeah, welcome to the show tonight. Oh, there he's unfrozen now. And that is Yoshi's ass. Hi, Yoshi's ass. Good stuff. It's unfortunate that he can't hear me because you're wearing headphones.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, what is this magic sorcery? Who is this that speaks to me from faraway lands?
Yeah. He's a goof.
Yep. So happy Pride Month. We're officially in June now, so...
Yep. I released a video today. 15 queer horror movies you can watch this Pride Month. And
yeah.
I've been bleeding subscribers today because people are like probably realizing, oh, this guy doesn't hate gay people like I do. I must unsubscribe to him.
I love it when the trash takes itself out, don't you?
Is this guy gay? A little bit. You know?
I mean, yeah, you do whatever works for you, man.
So, that's just funny to me. But there's been plenty of people watching it and loving it too, so.
I would say there's probably a lot more people that appreciate it than that don't, just because people that are already tuned into your channel already get your vibe.
I would hope so.
So, yeah. But yeah, I just want to say that, start the show off. I saw you sharing that around your socials earlier, your video there, so that would be interesting. I'll have to check that out and see what your recommendations are for this month.
I mean, a lot of people make different variations of these lists. I just picked 15 that I liked and that I think people should watch.
Yeah, I'm sure now there's probably pretty good lists going around, and it's probably worth checking out a lot of lists because you'll probably learn of a lot of new things to watch.
Spoiler alert, The Lost Boys is on the list for obvious reasons. Corey Haim and Joel Schumacher.
Yeah. And Tim Capello, the sax man. Everyone's like, why is he in this movie? And I'm like, well, he's an actual musician, which most people don't get.
Yeah, I said in the video, if a straight man directed this, that would have been a guitar player, and we all know it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't understand Joel Schumacher, I mean, he put nipples in the bat suit, right? People don't realize that because it wasn't openly spoken about back then, right? Yeah. But obviously there's a lot of things in that movie that when you look at it, you're like, yeah, that's easy to understand. But it's also a really fucking great movie, so...
Be one of us, Michael.
Yeah.
Suck a little dick, Michael.
Well, wasn't there a vampire movie about that where like they live so long and they're just talking about, oh no, I think that's what we do in the shadows. They're basically just saying, like, we've lived so long, we've done a little bit of everything just out of sheer curiosity and boredom. Yeah. When you've been living as long as we do, there's no reason not to. And I'm like, they got a pretty good fucking point. If you're gonna live forever, potentially, you may as well just
suck a little dick.
Live a little.
Never hurt anyone. Consensually.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So we're talking the WNUF Halloween special tonight when I've got the TerrorVision release in my hands right now. I got it last week. I actually, kind of what sparked all this was I did a top 50 horror movies of all time. I don't know if you checked that one out either, but that was also very controversial. People had a lot of interesting things to say in the comments, and one viewer recommended a movie called Noroi the Curse. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it's a found footage Japanese movie from the mid-2000s. So I went on eBay, found a copy. Actually, somebody, was it Arrow Video maybe, did a release of it. But it was only included in like a J-horror package. It was like a 4K release, and it was like $70 for a bunch of J-horror movies. And it was a couple of other ones by the same director, so I was interested, but like, I got to see this movie first. Did only realize later it was on YouTube for free, and I didn't have to buy a bootleg off eBay, but hey, I like physical media, so why not? And then I was like, while I'm here, I really like these types of movies. Like the WNUF Halloween special, which I saw last year for the first time. And then because of Late Night with the Devil, I discovered that originally because people were saying it was like basically that.
Name dropping these other movies, yeah, saying it's like this,
And then
inspired by that, yeah.
I saw WNUF and they were like, well, this is like Ghost Watch. So I watched that and I picked that up too. This is a release from MVD Visual,
Okay.
as seen on the BBC. Very interesting stuff. I got a couple other found footage. Like tomorrow I'm doing a live where I'm just going to talk about a bunch of found footage movies because I'm in this sort of phase now, discovering a bunch of these. And so I picked up the second WNUF movie. Sorry. I'm drinking a 7-Up Cherry Zero. So I've been going halvesies trying to wean myself off some sugary sodas. At least not all the time. So
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I'm weaning off energy drinks right now. So trying to cut those out completely again. So I started doing caffeine pills. Just do a caffeine pill every morning instead of a caffeine drink. And then I've been drinking these Bella V. This is the Aldi brand of their sparkling water. So this one's lemon, but their strawberry one's pretty banging. It's my favorite.
oh, nice.
So sugar free and no fake sugar or any of that shit. So I just like I have that can addiction, that something bubbly, something cold, something crisp, and that really does it for me without having the sugar. So
crisp and clean, no caffeine.
Yep. Yeah.
I caught that. I don't know if anybody else is old and wouldn't even know that still.
Somebody that's probably watched some commercials, gone down the rabbit hole. Yeah, so this found footage genre is pretty interesting. Like you said, that I personally loved Late Night with the Devil. I thought that was just such a great piece of entertainment, a great movie. And
if The Substance hadn't come out, it would have been my favorite movie of last year.
Yes, The Substance was next level, but Late Night with the Devil, actually, those are two of the only movies that I bought from last year, besides Ghostbusters.
How about those?
On physical media.
Ghostbusters, Mad Max.
Yeah.
And
I've been trying to get back into physical media, but it's just a matter of budgeting and waiting for sales and stuff because 4K is pretty expensive. And so if you can get some of the deals on Amazon, you can find
that's
some
the thing.
Good pricing.
You don't need WNUF on anything more than Blu-ray. Hell, you don't even need, obviously, even VHS to be perfectly clear, but but it's cool to have it this way because you can watch it on more formats, obviously. You don't have to have access to your VCR if you don't have access to that. Not everybody does. And their VHS releases of these movies are pretty limited. However, the one we're talking about tonight, the original WNUF, does have VHS still available, it seems, if you Google them on the TerraVision website. However, I couldn't find them just navigating through their website. So I don't know if they actually have them in stock or not, but it'd be sick to have.
Let me go. I'm on their website right now. They show... Oh, they still have Rumpelstiltskin on there, or that show's coming soon.
The VHS?
That show's on there. Malum, Copperhead, Cannibal Campout, Captives.
Yeah, it doesn't show up in the VHS
Regalia,
section on their website, but...
Wood Chip Massacre. Huh. Interesting. Well, I know sometimes if he's done pre-orders, he'll also send emails for people that were interested and say, hey, we've got some extra versions of this or that. I'm not going to put them up in the link, or he'll send out a direct link. So... At least that's what I've noticed since I got the Goonies VHS release that he did.
Hey, John Gray Vogel in the chat. I logged in to watch the queer horror movie list. Lo and behold, live stuff.
Nice. Yeah, well, welcome to the show.
John, if you don't know, I've been doing this podcast with my brother since 2020, but we recently moved it to this channel. Just because my channel here has been having a little bit of success. We have 4 times as many subscribers as the other channel, so may as well do it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to go live. We may as well do it where we're going to get the most exposure.
Mm-hmm. So what's really cool about this thing is I genuinely didn't understand what this movie was when I was first hearing about it, because a lot of the promo materials are kind of like how Blair Witch is, trying to seem authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the stuff I was seeing online wasn't making it clear to me that it was a fake movie because they were pitching it as real, and I was like, huh. I mean, it wouldn't put it past some old Halloween special with a bunch of cool commercials and stuff to exist, I didn't.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched it at that point, obviously. So when I watched it, I was like, oh, I understand perfectly. And it's amazing.
It's really well done in that aspect because when I watched it for the first time, that you can see someone fast forwarding through a few times, which is fine because some of those commercials are cut in more than once, like you would really see in the news special or something like that.
Yeah.
But I love that there's no credits.
Mm-hmm.
It just ends, and I'm like, that's perfect because as much as you want to throw the credits in there, and the other thing that really worked for this movie for me, before you even really get into the details on it, was there's not any like huge acting names in this. So it makes it believable that it could be and they all come across as people that are competent enough to be on like local news.
For
But there's
sure.
like no A-listers or even like, some B-listers and C-listers on here. It's like maybe since this movie came out, but like if you go to the Wikipedia, there's not a link to any of the actors that are on there. Now, obviously IMDb is different because it's strictly focused on this. So,
Right.
well,
Well, this director's done a numerous films, and apparently this, from what I'm reading on the internet, had a $1,500 budget.
dang. Okay.
Which is like, you must have just had really good access and people who are donating their time a lot, which is awesome that this is the result of that. Like, it's crazy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, $1,500 budget. I mean, I imagine. So they probably had access to a real house, obviously.
Yeah. It
Which
had
is
to be
probably
somebody
pretty
they
easy.
were able to get that for damn near free, if not free, for sure. Like,
Yeah. And then I wonder if catering and stuff was provided for cast and crew and stuff on those days to make it manageable, because I could imagine your catering budget could be that kind of money if you did a lot of days worth of shooting on this. But
I feel
the
like lots
format of it really worked well.
yeah, lots of interns and people just doing it for free for exposure and stuff like that. Just maybe just to do a fun project. I mean, sometimes people do. So as long as you're not exploiting people, and I don't think it's that type of thing, because it's not like when somebody offers you to do something for exposure, that's bad, obviously. But like,
yeah, when people want to trade, well, it's good exposure for you. Yeah,
if you offer up your services, if somebody's like, listen, I'm doing this project, they make a post or something, or talking to people, and I can't pay anyone, or I can barely pay anyone. I'm looking for people to do this, to volunteer. Thank you. And if like people volunteer, then sick.
Yeah, people volunteer. They might want to be working on their resume, their demo reel, whatever that is. And
If I heard about
a good way to get that exposure,
this movie, I would work on it for free, at least a little bit. You know what I mean? As much as time permitted with my life.
So I went into this movie blind. I didn't watch any trailers or anything about this movie before you said that you had just gotten your copy in. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go online and watch that. And I didn't do any research. Wanted to go in with a fresh set of eyes because, sometimes you watch a trailer like, is this something I want to watch? Because we were trying to figure out what we're going to cover tonight. And we had a few things we were kind of spitballing back and forth on, but I was like, okay, well, I can probably get this one in. And I'm glad that I did it that way because it was so much more enjoyable that way. Had I seen anything about this or read anything about this, it would have taken away a little bit of the magic.
Yeah.
Because this felt really fresh just watching it on its own. And then even the mannerisms these people had down for like local news affiliates, it just felt so authentic and genuine.
Yeah.
And I really like that, especially like seeing stuff from the 80s and like them asking questions and having people with stupid answers or like looking shocked. Like it was so, so good. I remember our mom was on the local news one time. She was late picking me up from kindergarten, or not kindergarten, but from like a preschool. And there'd been some like construction on a bridge or something. And so she was like in line and the news is there and they interviewed her about it. So
we had that on a VHS somewhere for the longest time. I have a bunch of our old VHS tapes, so I want to digitize all of them anyway. There's anything with family stuff on it.
Yeah, but that one just always, this movie really reminded me of that because this movie's set in 87, so right along that time period there, right?
Yeah.
It just felt so magical and so authentic to that. If you watch any old newscast stuff, really fits the vibe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, even as someone I was born in 91, but this is like close enough to the stuff that I grew up seeing on local ads and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got that very early 90s vibe, late 80s. and
Yeah.
it works. I love the commercials too. The fake commercials were on point.
Yeah, I have a list of those I want to talk about too, but we'll get to that
And
in
I
a
think
second.
those were all like guest directed or created, and some of them like didn't even like really know what the project was.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I would like to read more about it, watch some more special
Yeah.
features or some commentary, stuff like that, because there's not a lot to read about on Wikipedia or IMDb or the internet in general, so
Mm-hmm.
you kind of got to look for interviews of that guy. I did find a couple of the director did on YouTube, yeah, on like really small channels. There was like one he did on a 10 subscriber channel, and I was like, damn.
Oh, okay.
Riptide says, I would write music for a movie for free right now. Same. I actually recently licensed one of my music project tracks to a surfing documentary that's going to be coming out sometime. And then I gave a free piece of music to a vampire movie called Girls Just Want to Have Blood that's on Tubi right now.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, you did. So you've got some things out there.
I would love to do some more like retro horror soundtrack stuff. Maybe eventually I will get the chance to do some of that.
Well, and you just dropped a new album too. So if anyone wasn't aware, Alec does music as Another Green World, and he just dropped his newest album. How do you say that?
Chrysalis? You were going to say
Chrysalis, yeah.
Chrysanthemum, which also would have been a pretty
Chrysalis.
sick title.
Yeah. No, but I was listening to that the other day with my kids, and I can't remember which song we were on, but I was like, "Oh, this is Twin Peaks written all over it," and it like wasn't intentional, but it was just the subtlety and like just the music to it itself. I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
So-
interesting. The track Blue Rose on that album is like the lyrics are Twin Peaks related, so
No, but the one of the music kind of felt like it would be in the TV show, like is score music and kind of background music potentially.
yeah.
I'll have to give an album a listen. I'll tell you which track it is and see if like that makes any sense to you, like when you get my interpretation of that.
Yeah, there's lots of so I used an N64 sound emulator for some of the stuff too.
Oh, nice.
There's some basically, I don't know if you've picked it out, but basically the pan flute from Super Mario 64 makes a couple appearances.
I was listening on a shitty Bluetooth speaker in my backyard when we're hanging outside with the kids. So I haven't done a full headphone listen or in car listen to the whole album. I've listened, I always start on track 1. So
Yeah, track 1 has the pan flute during the solo, like the little
no shit. Okay.
keyboard solo.
I did not catch that, but I'll have to be focused 100% when I listen to it.
Some of the instrumental tracks have more sounds from Super Mario, and then also this is off track for WNUF, but it's fun for me. I use some GoldenEye N64 tracks. So the track Black Pines has like the almost like siren sounding synth from like the boat level and stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some
That's
really
awesome.
interesting shit.
Yeah, check that out. But that's awesome that you do that for free because, I mean, so many independent projects need that, and music can be very difficult. But I feel like if you're, especially for an indie film, because you're never gonna, I mean, it's hard for when someone's doing like soft synths to do like a whole orchestral style score, which has mixed results. But when you're able to do something a little more
Well, that's the thing is people do
genre specific, I think you can do some really amazing stuff that way.
lots of orchestra sounding stuff is just basically samples and stuff these days, and it sounds incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. I want to do like very synthy stuff. Some of it can be a little more modern. Anything from It Follows to the new Maniac soundtrack I'm very into, but everything also back to the Suspiria soundtrack and all the John Carpenter soundtracks in the 80s and Nightmare on Elm Street movies, all that kind of stuff, but with like synths, maybe a little bit of the Marco Beltrame industrial feel in there here and there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like the horror genre really lends itself to synthwave and different types of synths for that style stuff.
Well, yeah, like the new
So-
Terrifier movies has a lot of, especially Terrifier 2, synthwave out the ass.
Yeah.
And it works in that movie. That movie, I actually just watched it on, I got the 4K Steelbook last week because it was on sale on Amazon, and I have the VHS for 2, but that's the only way I owned it. So I was like, oh, they have the Blu-ray 4K Steelbook, and I'll grab that because I have 3 on Steelbook 4K. So
Nice. Yeah, the last VHS I got Christmas Vacation when I found the Lost Boys soundtrack on my vacation at a little antique mall.
nice.
So that was fun. Good finds. I haven't checked the Lost Boys tape to see if it works. I haven't checked Christmas Vacation, but I checked them before I bought them to make sure the right items were in the sleeves, Nothing worse than buying something you don't check it and then you get home and you're like, what the hell is this? Because it's never porn, even though it always should be. It never is.
Yeah. Riptide, that's awesome. He said he used to have a podcast a few years ago called Stranger Still and got to interview Grant Kirkhope, who wrote GoldenEye. He's the goofiest, nicest Scottish dad. Which is funny just because we've interviewed some people like that too, that like, it's very niche that people would know who this person is, but like Steve Perry was one of the earliest interviews we did, which is really cool. Not Steve Perry from Aerosmith, mind you. Steve Perry from, he was a writer and he wrote the Shadows of the Empire book for Star Wars, and he did some episodes of Real Ghostbusters and stuff. Like, dude rules.
He was an excellent interviewer, a real cool cat too.
Yeah, he like created the character of Dash Rendar, so thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Which is funny because like I'm not even a Star Wars toy collector anymore, but they've got some new versions of Shizor coming out and Dash Rendar in the Black Series. So I'm like, oh, okay. Getting a little bit of love.
I might get that just Dash Rendar.
They showed Dash Rendar here recently, but if I was going to get him, I'd get Shizor too, just for the hell of it.
Yeah, I might do that. That's the only Black Series thing I've been interested in. I don't have any of Black Series.
I've just got a handful of them, man, and like one of them is the Luke Skywalker and Yoda 2-pack, because I found that on clearance somewhere, and then one of them is a Grogu that I got when they first came out as Grogu by himself, so it was like just the tiny little Grogu. I'm like, okay, so that's all the Black Series I have though.
Yeah.
But yeah, WNUF, man. Let's get into the details of this thing.
I've got a list of commercials. Let's talk about some of these.
Okay.
Just because it's immaculate vibes. The pumpkin patch is one of the first commercials on there, and you're like, yeah, this is perfect sense. Like, you'd see this kind of stuff, fall festivals.
Yeah, and it's so relevant too, because like when you're paying for commercial advertising like that, no one gives a fuck about that pumpkin patch on Halloween day, like unless you went that morning, but you don't care about it being advertised in the broadcast, but they've still paid for a certain set time and so many advertising, so many plays that, oh, there it is. It's on the show, and you're going to see that stuff in early November. And I love that. I love that they had that on there, because that's so true to real life. Like, this isn't relevant anymore as of today, but you still paid through early November, the next week or whatever it is. So
yeah. There's a little makeup kit. So the movie kind of starts with the evening news before it gets to the actual Halloween special part 2, which is fun. And you have like, it feels like genuine Halloween news from 1987. And the bit with the dentist and the Halloween, he's buying candy, $1 for every pound of candy from these kids, which I have heard of before happening in the 80s and 90s. So
yeah, I mean, I still think you'll occasionally hear about something like that. So usually just a marketing gimmick, but I love how you have that news story and then you have his actual commercial later on in there. It's just perfect. Like him coming down to my dentist practice.
You have
that first visit. Yeah.
There's a bit about a 7-year-old being killed, and then it's fast forwarded through.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how they have something fucked up going on. You're like, wait, I wanted to hear that. And then just fast forward through it. I think that was perfect too.
And then there's like little TV bumpers for airings of other old movies and stuff. So one called Doggone It. That's pretty funny. And then specifically Sarcophagus is one I want to see. It's like a mummy looking in a downtown city.
Oh yeah.
Look like sick.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Grindhouse. Some of the entertainment shows, like not the carpet commercials and things like that, but the entertainment shows, and there had the Grindhouse vibe of like, okay, like here's an interesting TV show. Like they have this like sci-fi Star Wars ripoff in there that was looking pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then they showed that the one guy's going to be, isn't he going to be down at a mall or something?
Yeah. That's funny too. Outside the arcade from Galaxy Pilot.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. There's ads for like the Demolition Derby, which just takes me back to when like the monster truck rally would come to town. You'd see the ads, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They're perfect too because it's like just like the crap you'd see.
Yeah, it was like Tuesday, Tuesday, Tuesday instead of Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
enjoyed
Demolition
that quite a bit.
Derby.
The video rental store was good.
Oh yeah, Video World.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
And these all just like had the classic overlays and everything, man. They nailed them to a T.
Well, that's the thing is they didn't just overlay this. I'm pretty sure they just shot it on some old cameras and then they ran it through. They copied it to a VHS 3 different times, basically, to get the effect.
Oh, I meant overlays like having like the numbers and stuff for the advertisements to be posted on. Yeah.
No, you're right. The graphic design was like 100% on point.
Like spot on, big bold font because you're at a 4:3 aspect ratio with smaller grainy TVs, so it's like all very big and bold and easy to read and easy to see. I love that because nowadays like advertisements get kind of crazy with the fine print. Back then you couldn't do that. Couldn't read that shit.
Yeah.
So,
there is one for Phil's Carpet Warehouse. And that's the kind of shit you would just see on TV. You'd be like, I don't give a fuck about this. Be like the local plumber commercials and shit, you know?
Like here in town, we had Big Bob's Used Carpet, and then it became like Bob's Carpet and Flooring or something, and now it's like Bob's. I don't even know what the hell it is, but it's still in business.
Yeah, there's a couple stores like that I'm like, man, some of those have this vibe still in Olathe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a mattress store that I can think of that has that vibe still. There's the fucking grass pad.
Yeah.
Come on down to the grass pad. The grass pad's high on grass.
And the best part about that is, man, I think they made that commercial in the 70s when they opened, and like they've just been running the same animation ever since because it works, right? Why would you? Good. You're wasting your time and money if you redo that because they've got it down.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to get any better. Don't mess with it.
One of the plot lines I don't like about this movie, but it's kind of like one of the only horror plot lines throughout the actual investigation there is the cat being murdered, but hey, what are you going to do? Somebody's going to die, I guess.
Yeah, the only other thing in this I really didn't like was they showed like that dead dog body, and that pissed me off.
John Vogel says, I haven't seen this, but it sounds a lot like a British program called Ghost Watch, a fake broadcast played straight. This one?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I was just talking about that earlier because I've been buying up all of these movies. Like last year I saw Late Night with the Devil, and then I heard about WNUF. When I was reading about WNUF, I heard about Ghost Watch. There's a WNUF sequel, so I'm just like all into this shit right now. So
yeah, just mockumentary, found footage style horror.
Oh, it's beautiful. Some of it's mockumentary, some of it's like almost like on the internet they have something they're calling analog horror. It's not really movies. It's pretty memey and it's based on like creepypastas and shit, but it's pretty adjacent to what this is. It's almost the same thing. It's just that these are movies and
instead of short format.
Yeah. There's like lots of web series and YouTube series and stuff that are what people call analog horror. The most infamous is maybe well, there are a few movies but The Backrooms, have you heard of that stuff? It's kind of like
I've not heard of that one. Yeah.
A meme too, but it's like what do they call that? Lumineer spaces. I'm fucking, I don't know what it is, but there's like weird, like, you know how old creepy office buildings look that have been abandoned, but they're like clean still and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like shit like that, horror that's themed around like that, but then it's like looks like it's shot on a VHS too, and there's like weird monsters or like creepy David Lynchy shit happening.
Okay.
Like it's just pretty interesting. So
yeah, this is a whole genre because this genre is not a mainstream genre, right? When you think about this, I mean, I think obviously Late Night with the Devil broke it to the next level, but I think this genre is really something that's going to be a special and something special as a subgenre for a long time to come because it just makes so much sense. Like, could you imagine doing this in like the modern age? Like, because right, WNUF is from 87, but could you imagine like internet ads like being like played over like a YouTube video back? Like you could do some really cool shit with that too, especially with the way that YouTube cuts to ads and like they just cut shit at the most inopportune time and pause shit. So I think that would be really cool
Yeah,
to do something like that.
two people have corrected me and said liminal spaces.
Liminal spaces. Okay. Well, I'm glad some of you.
No, I'm a
Because
fucking
you're like,
moron. No,
all right.
I'm a. What is that Joe Rogan clip that just makes him look like an idiot, but it's completely relevant. Not that I'm a Joe Rogan fan, obviously, but
Yeah.
he says something like, "I'm not a doctor. I'm a fucking moron."
Well, even the biggest assholes are truthful once in a while. So
Right. So what else we got here? The fortune teller hotline and the like monster hotline.
Those are very cool. The fortune teller, because it had the tarot cards down there, and then we have the whole overlay of they did not want to say Ouija board, so they called it a spirit board, which, you know, Ouija board's a brand, so I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's a trademark and copywritten product at this point, so they didn't give them credit for that, which I thought was a pretty baller move, because you know, they probably could have gotten away with it, but at the same time I was like, nah, let's not do that. But the tarot card readings was cool in there. And then
okay,
I think so.
Riptide gets me. He says, or you know, I don't know who you are, but Riptide, I think that's an H3 soundbite, the Joe Rogan thing, and it most certainly is. I just didn't think anyone would
understand you referencing another podcast sound clip,
especially not H3. I'm a huge H3 fan, so I appreciate that. Yeah, I watched. I was very sad there wasn't an episode today. I was waiting, but yeah, and specifically now that I'm thinking about it, H3 had a like a green screen competition, and one of the guys did a Backrooms H3 like office, combined like all of that together into a very hilarious like short film that was incredible to watch. So this stuff is kind of everywhere on the internet now.
Yeah,
dude. Riptide, I've submitted for the Dream Remix contest. I did a black metal remix that actually had like 300 upvotes on the subreddit, and then I did a like synth pop remix of it as well. I didn't do any of the video editing ones just because I knew, like you saw that Backrooms one, I wasn't gonna fucking music. I could probably stand a chance, but sorry, not to make this about H3, but hey,
no, you're good. You're good.
We also got the commercial for the metal cassette tape.
Mm-hmm.
That was sick as hell. Just hearing some like music they produced just for this.
And even if you like paid close attention to the song titles on that thing, there's one of them that like scrolled by and I was like, that's fucked up.
Oh, that's awesome, Riptide. He said he made music for Content Court. Those were the days. Okay. That was like basically a show they did. There's also a strip club commercial on this movie.
That was fucking weird, wasn't it? I thought that was kind of a strange thing that they had going on there.
Yeah. I don't know if you could get away with that kind of a thing on TV, really. Even then, I wasn't alive, but I think that and the Video World commercial were the only things people called out as unrealistic when I was reading about this, because Video World mentions an adult-only section, and it'd be fine if they were like mentioned it, or like I don't know, there would be a way to mention it. You could get away with it in a commercial, I feel like.
Yeah. You'd be like in a saloon door section or something, like whatever it was, like you'd mention it that way and be more discreet about it. But yeah, which is fucked up if you think about it, because like legit, our parents did that. Like we'd go to the fucking front row video and like dad would disappear into the porno section.
Yeah,
and you're just like not thinking anything of it. You just don't go in there, and you're like, okay, whatever. But you're like, here, we're gonna go rent these videos, like Debbie Does Dallas and Thomas the Train. No, you know what I mean? Like that's on your rental checkout history.
Thomas Runs a Train.
Yeah, how do you pick that movie out when your kids are like wandering around the rest of the store? Like, how do you get into that mindset? I don't fucking know, man. That's a question we should be like asking some like 80s dad, like not our dad, obviously, but somebody else's dad.
Yeah.
Like, how did you make a decision when your family's in tow in the rest of the video store? I think we could fix a lot of people's childhood trauma by getting answers to that.
Oh man, I forget that I have a whole like
Collection.
collection of porn tapes that I got
Yeah.
from our grandmother. She'll never watch this. It's okay.
Yeah, no, there's no way in hell.
I it feels wrong to even just like touch them. You know what I mean? I need like alcohol pads and shit to clean these motherfuckers off.
Yes, and you should say that. Well, at least allegedly, they were her husbands,
Right.
given to you as they were downsizing to go into like a senior living type of a place. So
Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I buy it.
but mhm.
Oh, Riptide said that's how he found me was the H3 stuff. That checks out.
Nice,
Thank you.
awesome, dope. That's a good way to hear that.
Yeah,
Getting out
what's
there.
funny is even I had a video recently that oddly got recommended to members of the H3 community because it was a member-only stream. Like I was looking at my analytics. Where were you getting clicks from? And one of them was like from an H3 thing. And I don't know if it was because I watched my own video and then I was watching the stream and YouTube was like, oh, I'm associating these things now. It was fucking weird. I'm like, huh.
All right, well, let's take it, man. Let the algorithm do you a favor once in a while.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what do you think of the ending of this movie?
Oh, I loved it. That ending was fucking perfect. It showed the religious zealots fucking being the murderers, and I'm like, fuck, they could do this movie as a straight up horror movie and like incorporate this concept where it's not found footage and like show like the killers planning that, and that would be so awesome.
Yeah.
Because like the crazy mom, like you see her interviewed on TV, like Halloween is sinful and yada yada yada, and they're out there protesting. And that's the guy that kills him is the guy that runs on set, and they have to excuse him later. Like they both have appearances, so
Yeah.
I love that aspect of it. The only people that I thought deserved more screen time because they kind of opened the movie up was that the first two newscasters. I kind of felt like there should have been like they should have popped up one last time during
They
the
did pop
technical
up at the
difficulties.
end. Oh yeah, while the broadcast was happening still, yeah.
Yeah, and saying like, yeah, sorry, we got technical difficulties on scene because I
They
get
should've-
that the news program segment's over, so they're doing this live thing. But I feel like the people in studio are always kind of on standby, available for.
Yeah, I feel like when they did live
Technical.
events like this, they would still have the studio people instead of the van producer talking. But
Yeah,
maybe it was budgetary reasons and they'd,
yeah.
had people for a certain amount of times and stuff. I do want to talk
The
about
other-
the special features on here. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the other thing I thought was really cool in this was the vibes that I got, like Scream vibes from the movie Scream, like with the newscaster being outside in the van, and then sending the intern in with the camera, and the intern
Oh.
getting shit on. I thought that was pretty cool. Like I was like, oh man, that'd be fascinating to see from like the killer's perspective, or from like a wide angle perspective of like them getting stalked. But
Yeah. So sorry, I'm burping. The special features, the original audio commentary with director Chris LaMartina. So he's done a couple other movies too that are very fascinating. One of them's about people. It's like an anthology horror film. I can't even remember the
Okay.
title. But it's like people watching YouTube videos that are viral or something, or probably not YouTube, but like some other internet website. I don't know. All new 2021 group commentary with cast and crew. Cutting room commercials, which there were more in there. I watched those. Outtakes and
Okay.
bloopers. Rewinding the fast forward segments. Shitty on Purpose. How we aged WNUF, which basically just there's a line in the middle of the screen and it just shows several scenes from the movie. Now that I'm thinking about it, they actually just shot this probably with regular fucking modern cameras because it looked great on the left. And on the right, they just
okay.
passed it through a VHS tape once, and then they did it again, and then they did it again.
to get that vintage look to it.
Yeah, I
Nice.
think through different VCRs too, just to...
Well, yeah, that would definitely help mix it up, right? So you're getting some
Yeah.
different markings and things. Ooh, that's awesome. Ooh, I need to see that. That's fascinating shit to me right there.
Well, it's really cool because I actually just bought a little thing that is basically HDMI to RCA, so I'm going to be experimenting with some shit, at least
okay.
if nothing else, graphics for the channel and stuff like that, and maybe recording like some Stranger Things episodes or something like that on VHS, you know.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
TerraVision Records WNUF album promo, WNUF Christmas special. Long lost WNUF commercials rediscovered for 2021 release. Honestly, it's just a fascinating release, and they had like more deluxe versions of these with bigger boxes and stuff. But like, I don't know if you have any Blu-rays from TerraVision, but like the slip covers are like 3 times as thick as other ones. They're like really sturdy. Like,
Oh, like a heavy cardstock.
yeah,
Nice.
I love it.
Like
It's
that.
one of my favorite things, and they're one of the most affordable labels out there. I love them.
So as far as I can tell, the WNUF Halloween special is still on TerraVision. It says it's limited to 250 copies.
Is that the VHS? Are you looking at, or is it this?
Yeah, the VHS, and
I
so
don't
that's
have
still
that
up
yet.
for sale. But you have to go. I just searched WNUF.
That's what I did too.
on- Okay, yeah.
I found it that way, but it wasn't on the
Blu-ray.
website. So I was like, I wonder if it's actually in stock. Because usually
Halloween
just
Halloween
remove it.
cassette. See if the Halloween cassette's in stock.
I think that was in stock, but it's like it's a Frank Stewart cassette tape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. Frank
Yeah.
Stewart is the lead guy investigating, for those who haven't seen the movie. He's there on the front.
Yeah, I like that concept there. Yeah, that's cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this company's very boutique. Obviously, they've had some issues with timeliness of delivery, but
I think it's just because
overall,
they're such a small company. I was having issues with Rumpelstiltskin getting here, but like, ultimately they took care of me, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the only negative about them. It's just going to take a little bit to get shipped. But I mean, if you really still want
Well,
their
and if
stuff,
you-
you can also go to Orbit DVD. They have a lot of TerraVision stuff, and you can pre-order it from them as well. And obviously, that's still supporting the company. So
yeah, but if you're getting anything in stock, I think that ships pretty quick.
yeah, this I ordered
Like,
last week sometime, and I've got it in hand now. It
yeah,
took
if you're into
maybe
like,
2 or 3 days that shipped from when I ordered it. But the guy, like, it's a small company. I think there's like maybe 5 people that work there, including like people who do shipping, and like they're going around to conventions and doing booths and stuff right now too. So it's a busy season for them. But this one is really cool too. I wanted to show it off. You see how it looks like a VHS slipcover? It's the second one.
mm-hmm.
And what's funny is like it just has like that taped. Looks like it's taped on the background. It has that little label of an address being torn off. You know, those kind of address stickers
Oh.
everybody had.
I do like that. That's like
Just the
nice detail.
detail.
Like sometimes people overdo that
Yeah.
with like the aging, but that feels legit. Like that feels like just the right amount of real without being like, oh, we made this thing like super dirty too. You're like, your VHS tape probably wasn't that dirty unless it grew fucking mold sitting in the garage.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, but if you're into TerraVision, man, they've got a lot of cassette tapes. They also do vinyl, but
Well, that's the thing.
Like,
They
they've got-
started out just doing music. This is
Yeah.
the first Blu-ray release they did. Was actually this
Nice.
TerraVision
Okay.
-001. I think it's
But, I mean,
just
they got-
TV without the dash for the cassette. But they do cassettes, vinyl, and they do it for obscure soundtracks and stuff. They've done some Friday the 13th movie soundtracks on cassette. Rumpelstiltskin. I have an Unsolved Mysteries soundtrack on cassette from them.
They have Fire in the Sky
Yeah,
on cassette.
I need to get that.
Yeah, they also got Chopping Mall, The Monster Squad, which I got the Monster Squad CD a while back, so I could import that into my like digital library. Pet Cemetery, the original version, Unsolved Mysteries. Like there's some really good boutique stuff on here. Toxic Crusaders, the cartoon series. Escape from LA. Nice. Yeah.
Wait
so
a second. I don't know where this chat went. I'm reading here. Hold on.
Wait.
It's from Riptide, but it's showing up. It's not showing up in my like feed on the side, but it is showing up on the like feed that I'm watching. I guess I'm not sharing it with you, but it says, "Son, back in my day, you used to have to plan ahead to jerk off. We'd drive 30 miles to Blockbuster and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you did. You did. It was a different time.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't just pull it up on your phone and discreetly remove yourself for room for 10 minutes.
No, it's one of those things like everybody has a story about finding porno magazines in the woods too. You know what I mean? Everybody who
Yeah.
lived in the 80s and 90s.
Oh shit! I mean, since Playboy came around, right? You know, like look back at any coming of age story back then, and like someone's got nudie magazine somewhere.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like you wouldn't be caught dead having any of that. You're like, oh, I don't even want to find that.
It's Nudie Magazine Day, which is actually
Yeah.
a good transition. There's a new Happy Gilmore movie coming out. We should talk movie news here at the end, and any questions you guys have, feel free to Q&A us if you want. I don't know how to pronounce that. Snoich Noich 42, about to watch WNUF, just got AMC Plus. That has it. Yeah, I think it's on Shudder. Is that where you watched it, Justin?
I watched it elsewhere, but yeah, it's on Shudder.
I mean, fair, but I think you should buy a physical copy of this at some point. At least a
Well,
tape
yeah,
or
since
something.
there's still a VHS of this, I think the VHS of this would be nice.
Yeah, it's great, like, just to throw on in the Halloween season during the background. Like, there's nothing better, especially if you've seen it a couple times by then. You don't need to pay full attention, but those commercials, it's just, the vibe is immaculate, so.
This is a movie that would be a perfect background movie if you're making a movie about Halloween on like Halloween night and had some shit going on, like it was a period piece, you know, took place in 87 doing that. That'd be so cool to have this on in the background.
Yeah.
Like make your own horror movie in the same realm as this by having this on in the background. Be like, yeah, I consider this canon. You know, this is the same world. Yeah, Happy Gilmore too, man.
Did you watch the trailers? Or the trailer, whatever dropped?
I watched the teaser that came out a while back. I didn't watch the full trailer yet.
I watched it.
Yeah, pretty cringe, pretty bad.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to have to watch it out of sheer curiosity because I loved that movie so much growing up and in the 90s. Like, if I was to watch Adam Sandler movies these days, the only two of his, like, big comedies that I'd watch would be Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. Then I'd watch, you know, Wedding Singer. I really like 50 First Dates on occasion, maybe. And then some of his weirder stuff, like his other roles. But, like, I'm kind of think I'm over Waterboy. I'm over everything he did after Click that wasn't a drama role. Except Funny People. That was okay. It's just a little long, but that's Judd Apatow's fault.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Like, right, I can't watch a lot of his 90s stuff is, you know, to me it's Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. And then Wedding Singer. Wedding Singer, though, is a good ensemble cast too, with everyone to go around it, right? So
100%. Yeah, Little Nicky. Okay, that's one that I could probably watch on occasion still, just because the vibe's really funny. Like, just being themed around the devil stuff. Like, those types of movies are really silly. Like, I used to be able to watch those movies. I didn't care about the plot. It was just about how funny the movie was. But now I'm like, the plot has to be at least mildly interesting. So that's why Waterboy's completely out, too. Just that his weird portrayal of that, like, nah, I'm good.
yeah, and I never loved Waterboy like a lot of people did, but
when I was a kid, I did, but can't blame you.
yeah. Well, I'm older, so you know you can thank me for not liking that. But yeah, I mean, I've seen some of his Netflix stuff. He did a movie where he's like a basketball coach, and like that was pretty good for like a drama role. You know, he's not trying to be funny in that, and like I was like, okay, that's decent enough. But
I mean, I love Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah,
but
again, that's not a movie I watch all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, people.
I think it's a little I think it's a little overrated, but like that movie, if the goal was to give me anxiety, like mission accomplished. I had a massive anxiety during that whole movie. We watched it in theaters. I don't know if you were there. I think you might have been, but.
Well, I think the issue with that movie for most people is that was their introduction to Adam Sandler, like trying to show he had some chops besides comedy and physical comedy and stuff. Whereas in Punch Drunk Love, he really did that. And so if you hadn't seen that, or if you don't remember that, then you give way more props to this next movie than you really should have. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it just because I've got high hopes. Like, what's his name? Kyle from Workaholics. directed it, so I'm like, okay, but I
That's
mean,
the second
obviously,
Adam Sandler movie he's directing too. He's directed one
Okay.
before, um, the murder boat party one or something. He did
okay.
with Jennifer Aniston, I think. Didn't
Yeah,
he
I don't
direct
think I
that?
saw that.
I didn't
Maybe.
either, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch it because it's gonna be on Netflix, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to go to a theater for it. So that's good.
Yeah,
That's not what
that's
I'm.
my main thing is like, if it's included in your Netflix subscription, man, like just check it out, see if it's any good or not.
So trailer spoilers, but it basically looks like he has some kids, and like one of them's trying to go to school, and he's broke, and he needs to get back into golfing to help afford that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, simple enough plot. I mean, what
Yeah.
you know, you don't need to do anything crazy with a fucking Happy Gilmore 2. You just need to be able to give us the laughs, and they're probably going to give us a little bit too much of that heart in this movie. That's not going to feel as sincere because it's a fucking Happy Gilmore movie.
Happy Gilmore sequel too.
Yeah,
Like you literally had fucking ghosts of alligators and fucking people waving at us right at the end of that movie.
little people riding tricycles. Like that
Mhm.
was a weird fucking movie.
Yes. So there's some abstract shit in that movie.
Shooter McGavin. It looks like he gets into a fist fight with him at some point. He's back, so
Yeah.
as long as he's like in a good chunk of the movie,
Mhm.
we'll see. I don't know. Shooter McGavin needs to be in it. I don't know. I didn't really recognize a bunch of other people. I think who played the girl? What's her face? I think she's back, but I'm
Yeah,
not even
she was on
sure.
Modern. Her biggest thing after that, I think, was Modern Family. She's the mom in that, but yeah, she's back. I'm pretty sure I saw her in the trailer. So, but yeah, I mean, I love Happy Gilmore, man. Like, it's still one of my like comfort movies, just as far as like an easy movie to watch that doesn't take a lot of paying attention to, but always get laughs out of it. So,
yeah.
and I prefer that actually to Billy Madison. Like, I think Happy Gilmore, the rewatchability is better for me than Billy Madison at this point.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal take on it.
I just pulled up Screen Rant to talk about some movie news. Let's see if there's anything interesting.
Well, the big shit. Did you see the teaser for Stranger Things 5?
I did a reaction video to it, so that's on the channel newly as well.
So I thought it was interesting. They've got 2 parts to the series, the season, and then they've got a 2.5-hour finale.
Yeah, they basically said it's like 8 movies, or like
Yes.
however many movies, like because they're just gonna be long.
Yeah, and that's why it's taken so long, because it's been what, 3 years since the last one came out?
Will it have been?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, 3 years ago it came out in the summertime is when the first part debuted, I think. So, and there's so much post production on there too. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also kind of dreading it because that first season was really fucking magical, and then season 2 was so rushed, and then season 3 they set the pace, and 4 was good, but I'm just like, does it have to be this like graphics heavy to be good? Like, is that detract from the movie?
I think I don't know. At some point, I got like kind of over the Stranger Things thing between seasons 3 and 4 because I had watched it from the beginning, and season 2 was mid. Season 3 I really liked, but like it was starting to take so long to come out that I kind of lost it. By the time season 4 came out, I hadn't even watched many trailers, and I didn't like it really the first time around. Then I watched it again and was like, holy shit, actually, that was kind of awesome. So it's kind of like that. Stranger Things has like this window where I don't give a fuck between releases. But when they're here, I'm like, hell yeah, and I'm getting hyped. Once they start showing me trailers and stuff, I'm like, about time, because like, there's people who for the last 3 years have been like dying over Stranger Things news. I just like could not live that way, even though I've done it for Ghostbusters for like 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that, right? Because that's that double-edged sword of like, okay, there's some people that are hyped about this, and like I knew it was going to take forever because it took season 4 forever.
Yeah.
Like they really burned themselves with season 2, how fast they did it, and we're like, fuck that, we don't want to do that again. You know, let's take our time with it, but you know,
yeah, I think it's gonna be
doing-
dope though. They showed some new cast members in that teaser trailer. There's like 10 seconds of footage in it, but new footage.
Oh yeah, just that little last little bit. Yeah, no, I think it'll be good. I'll probably do a full rewatch going into that. So
Riptide says, I hope we don't get too many old-timey Jimmy Lee style jokes. Adam Sandler can get like that sometimes. All right. For you normies out there, that's just the H3 reference. Jimmy Lee is a dentist. James Weiner. Anyway. What else do we got for news? Oh, what is this? Mike Flanagan's Exorcist movie gets clarifying production update that puts 2026 release in doubt. Let's see what this says. So Mike Flanagan has been working on an Exorcist movie, apparently. I've kind of been aware of this, but we just got an Exorcist movie too long ago, didn't we? And I didn't go see it.
I haven't seen any of the last Exorcist movies in a while, just because, like, as a fucking atheist, those movies fucking don't scare me. And the fact that they keep making them, I'm just bored with them.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, I'm just bored. And I'm like, if you did something compelling, but I'm like, I know we're gonna get a priest, I know we're gonna get all these cliche things that have to be shoehorned into it.
Yeah,
and it just bores the fuck out of me personally.
Okay.
I know some people love those things though. Mostly people that are terrified of that shit.
Yeah, so David Gordon Green did The Exorcist Believer in 2023. And that guy, he just did the Halloween trilogy, and he did like Pineapple Express and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have mixed feelings on that. I'm not even like a huge Mike Flanagan fan, but it's not because I think he's terrible or anything. I just haven't watched a lot of the stuff. I know he's in a lot of those like Netflix horror shows and stuff that people are into. What's that one called? The Haunting of Hill House. He did Dr. Sleep. Okay, I love Dr. Sleep. So
yeah, Dr. Sleep was fucking phenomenal. That was
based on that. Maybe I should give some of his stuff an actual watch, because I know when we were interviewing Greg Sestero, he was telling us about being in the sequel to the Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, okay.
Like the second season, maybe, of it.
Okay. Yeah, I could get into that. Another movie we're looking forward to that we haven't really seen much of is The Running Man. Like, we've heard about it, and I've been seeing some like pictures and posters, and so like, I don't know if any of this is real. A lot of people are, like fan posters and shit. Like,
yeah,
people think the real posters out. I'm like, I don't believe any of that yet, because it's not been any official channel. So
yeah,
some of it looks like bad Photoshop or bad AI. So
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein has a teaser out.
Yeah, and that's interesting because he said it's not supposed to be like a traditional monster movie.
Yeah, he said it's not horror. Basically, it's something else. And I'm like, whatever. I'm not a huge Guillermo del Toro fan. I liked Pacific Rim. I think that's about it. Terrifier 4, Damien Leone promises Art's backstory in the first 15 minutes. This is funny because that's going everywhere on these news sites, and it's based on a YouTuber, Sean Chandler, being at I think, like that Texas Fright Festival that just happened. He was there, like, interviewing. He had a booth, and like he was next to Art the Clown, and Damien Leone was there, and he was like, "Hey, can you tell me anything about Terrifier 4?" And he was basically like, "Yeah, we're gonna get this," and he just like a quick little video, like 30 seconds. So
and that became like clickbait news. Everyone tried to like write a whole page article about a 30-second clip.
No, it's totally funny
because it's like college all over again.
It's what happens to Kevin Smith all the time. He'll say just one sentence of like speculation or something, and they'll be like, Kevin Smith says Marvel is this or that, and then everybody takes it and runs with it. And
yeah,
it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Final Destination Bloodlines is the franchise's first movie to hit 200 million. Nice.
I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised, because we're also at that age where everything fucking costs more now than it ever has. So what's that adjusted for inflation? Is my question. And population. Inflation and population. What percentage of American moviegoers went to the theater to see that?
Yeah.
So many different ways you can like score these things, metrics-wise.
Other news, the Sleepaway Camp sequels are coming to 4K from Scream Factory. I don't know if you've
Oh,
seen
nice.
any of those. I have them on a DVD set that actually was recalled because it has the Red Cross on it, and the Red Cross was like, "No, sir." But it's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
cool. It's a pretty cool like set that has all 3 movies and the unfinished 4th movie, which they eventually went back and finished later after the set came out, and people didn't like. So
That's fascinating that they had a recalled movie set. I'm like, recalled, huh? So
yeah,
no one sent it back in. So it's a valuable eBay find now, I'm sure.
yeah.
Sure.
I actually found it at Vintage Stock, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get that."
Oh, shit. Okay, cool.
I did a video on it. It was like
Nice.
60 or $70, 3.5 movies. But I was like, I'm getting it. I didn't own the 2nd or 3rd movie at all, and it's only DVD. But I'm probably not getting those 2 movies on 4K. I'm good.
Yeah, if they weren't that good, like, why spend the extra money?
I didn't see Sinners, unfortunately. I was stoked for it. It was one of the movies that was like high on my anticipated movies, but eventually I'm going to get around to it. But there's an article about here. The makeup was inspired by 2015's Green Room, if you remember watching that.
Oh, yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, I watched it again this year, actually. Really loved that movie.
Yeah, Sinners I did not get to see in theaters either. There's just a few things early on this year that I missed just due to not being able to get time to go to the theater when it was out and hitting the release window. So when Sinners hits streaming, I think we'll probably talk about it at some point. We may not do a full review, but we'll definitely get our thoughts.
Yeah.
Some commentary on it because that is something I want to see. And there's been a lot of clickbait articles going around like, "Hey, is he going to make a sequel?" He says he doesn't want to make a sequel to this. It's supposed to be a one-off story, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I love it when you get a good movie through and through that doesn't need a sequel. But then there's always like, oh, the franchise ability. We need something that's a brand. It's more and kind of wild. So I hope they don't fuck it up by going that route. We'll see.
For sure. Dymo says, I am so tired of shows that take 3 years between seasons. Probably referring to Stranger Things. Yeah.
And Severance.
Yeah, dude. Even Barry was seeming like that for a while. And Righteous Gemstones, like all these modern shows keep doing this shit. And it's like, it's better than canceling the show, I guess, if people are unavailable and they want to do other projects. But like, yeah.
Well, to me, like if you're going to do Stranger Things season 5, why call it 5 if you're going to break it up and release it over 2 segments?
Well, they did that with 4, and they're so close together. It's like a month apart. It doesn't bother me because normally you'd be watching throughout an entire like school year type season, like September to May.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me as much because there's going to be so much content anyway. I am the type that's probably going to binge watch it, but
yeah.
At the same time, actually, that reminds me. Have you seen The Rehearsal yet?
I have not.
I watched the first 3 episodes. Holy fuck! You remember Nathan For You, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's Nathan Fielder. He did The Curse, and he did the season 1 of The Rehearsal. I don't know if you watched that, but it's on Max and other places if you don't have Max. Wink.
No, we've got Max because we just watched episode 6 of The Last of Us season 2. And then I just finished Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV. So,
well, it is perhaps some of the funniest shit I've seen on TV ever. And
nice.
We're only halfway through the episodes that are released right now. Riptide says, I wonder if the Exorcist movies get funding from the church. That would be a funny way to produce a film. Yeah, it would be. I honestly think some horror movies have been made with like approval of church, surprisingly. I think that's actually a weird and interesting topic that'd be worth discussing sometime. But
see the movies, yeah, because I mean, like when you're admitting to the devil and all that kind of stuff, like they're really into that shit. And so yeah, they would pay for you to believe that because, like I said, I think for those Exorcist movies, the people that are most afraid are the people that grew up in the Catholic Church that are terrified of that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Someone who doesn't give a fuck, I'm like, okay, it's the same recipe. Like somebody that may not like Ghostbusters for whatever reason may just think like, oh, those movies are all the fucking same once you get past the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying they're all bad. If I watched them, I might like some of them, but I'm not like, ooh, an Exorcist trailer, and I've got to run out and put that on my to-watch list.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of modern sequels, sometimes people just don't care about and they forget them and they move on with their lives. Like, to
Mhm.
me, I don't ever watch any of the Tremors sequels. I'll occasionally throw in Tremors, though. But, like,
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, I'm crazy about, so I'm going to watch all those movies.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's got their genre or like their like comfort franchise.
Here, let me change something here.
Have you watched Star Wars Andor season 2 at all?
I haven't watched the fucking first season, bro.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched any Star Wars thing since, like, Mandalorian season 2.
Gotcha.
And it's not that it was bad. I was just like, there's too much of it. You're putting out so much shit I don't give a fuck about. Actually, I guess, I don't know when Obi-Wan came out. I kind of like that, the Obi-Wan show. And I know a lot of
Okay.
people hated it. There were things I hated about it, but also I just like Ewan McGregor, so.
Yeah. Well, that was the redeeming factor there. Yeah, Patrick Stewart was terrifying in Green Room. He was so good in that.
And Snoich
Anton
Noit's
Yelton.
super excited for Dogma re-release. I am as well. I have a DVD and VHS copy, but I was never going to buy a Blu-ray copy at how expensive it was. And I don't know if I'm going to get a 4K release, but I am excited just the fact that it's going to be available. I might do it just to support Kevin Smith getting the rights back and be like, fuck yeah, dude.
I'll do that as a celebration probably towards it just because I need it. I still can't believe that we missed Kevin Smith in town. Like, Kevin Smith did a viewing of Dogma here in town, and he did 2 times. He did a 6 o'clock and a 7:30, and I can't believe we missed that.
He did that in, like, it wasn't in Kansas City either. It was, like, local to where
It-
I live, which is what was
Yeah.
fucking nuts. We could have gone and seen him at the theater we went to growing up.
Yeah, it's the theater I saw Goldeneye at. That was the first movie I ever saw there.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
But he's coming back, but it's unfortunately the same weekend as Crypticon. He's going to be here Friday, and then Crypticon is also Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm already planning on going to Crypticon, so
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it's tough. And then I see Bill Murray this weekend,
Yeah, I wanted to go to that
Performing
too, but it just wasn't in the cards.
and then the Sandlot cast and crew is doing like a live screening Q&A of that movie here coming up, and they've got discounted tickets now because they rescheduled this from last year. It was supposed to be last summer and it canceled, so
When is this?
coming up here pretty quick.
I have a
so if you're-
VHS copy.
If you're available to go, I'd like to go do that because they're going to have the cast and crew there, and so I love that movie. I watched that with my kids the other night when we were camping outside.
Yeah, there's
We did a
very
back-
few like sports movies or kids movies from the 90s that hold up that well.
Yeah, and that movie's just like such a classic coming of age. Yeah, it's about baseball, but it's really just about the friendship, and baseball kind of is the loose format that carries it. So
100%.
they made sequels to that, and they all fucking suck. All those sequels to that movie are trash. And I tried watching some of them just to see like how do you try to have the audacity to fucking make a sequel to this movie?
I never even tried to
Don't-
get into
Don't
it.
waste.
Let's see. Riptide says, I watched the rehearsal and then watched the entire series with my parents in one sitting. It's fucking incredible. Yeah, Nathan Fielder's just maybe the funniest person on the planet right now, like working, making new shit, I think. Like, especially since Curb Your Enthusiasm has ended. Larry David's not doing anything right now. It's Nathan Fielder for me.
Yeah, I hope Larry David continues to do work, man. And yeah,
Something.
Dymo asked if we're in Missouri. We're in the Kansas City area, so Alec is on the Kansas side. I'm on the Missouri side. I actually live in Kansas City, Missouri, but
Yeah.
we grew up out on the Kansas side in a town called Olathe. We both moved and bounced around a little bit before we ended up back here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool shit coming up, and then we got the Child's Play 3 thing coming up this summer. We're gonna go try to hit up.
Yeah, I requested work off for that and Crypticon already, so I'm definitely doing that. The tickets aren't that expensive. They're like $30 for that Chucky event. And I actually think I'm going to sign up as a sponsor for it because for like $65, they'll put you on like the pre-screening shit and stuff.
Oh no shit. Okay.
And like you can have like some stickers and merch to hand out at the tables and stuff too. So
Oh shit. Okay. That includes your admission then instead?
I don't know. I think it's on top of it, but
Okay. Well, still, that's not bad though.
I mean, yeah, for like $65, I think it is. So I might look into doing that just because people who are at that event, especially I'm local too. So like I'd be more interested in
Yeah.
checking out a local horror YouTuber that's growing. I don't know. Personally,
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool, but
Yeah. Oh, so you're down in Springfield, Missouri. That's pretty cool. I was just we pass through there regularly when we go down to the Memphis area.
yeah.
They do a couple of good cons down in Springfield too. So
Yeah, it's not that far.
yeah. Oh man, what else is going on? So
Other than that, this month we've got a Jurassic World movie coming out this month. We got to start covering those movies. I'm going to be covering the original trilogy on VHS with reviews on this channel, and we'll probably do an episode talking about each trilogy, maybe.
yeah, and I
for
think I'm
each.
gonna reread the first book because there's some shit that was lifted straight from the first book for this movie. So like there's this T-Rex river scene that they had a portion of in the Lost World, like where they're hiding under this waterfall, like and the T-Rex is like sniffing through, like that's from the same segment of this book. But I've like been seeing the toys be posted where they've got like this T-Rex and they've got this jungle river raft, and I'm like, okay, that looks really cool.
Yeah, I gotta say my expectations are at absolute zero. I don't expect anything from this movie. I'm not excited for it at all, and I got so hyped for the last one, and then I was disappointed. I didn't like Fallen Kingdom really at all. The last one I kind of even liked less. So
Well, what pissed me off was like when you look at the quality of that, like Jurassic World was decent, and then like it wasn't amazing, but it was decent. So you're like, okay, I see where you're going with that. The second one, Fallen Kingdom, sucked, and then where's that? Was Fallen Kingdom the second one?
yeah, because Dominion's the third one.
Yeah, Dominion. And then the thing that outshined all those fucking three movies, the whole trilogy was outshined by the little short film they did that was released between 2 and 3.
And the teaser trailer for Dominion was better than the movie too.
Yeah, the teaser trailer took everything you thought that was like going to continue on from that battle at Little Big Rock or whatever it was, and they fucked it up. And like they gave us this little short movie that I was like, oh fuck, they could do a movie like of this scale and everything. That's going to be fascinating. And then they didn't. They're like, we're back in another park in another part of the world. And I'm like, the fuck is with you guys in parks? Like, I don't want to see this shit.
Indeed.
Yeah. So at least
we've also got 28 Years Later coming out. So we're going to have to talk about those. I haven't seen the second one in years. The first one, it's probably been a couple of years as well, but I've seen that one way more for sure.
Yeah, the first one I used to watch pretty regularly. For one, it was because I had the DVD of it, and the second one I didn't. And the second one just didn't stand out with me as much. Now I'm excited for this to kind of see where it goes, but you know, keeping expectations level set too.
Yeah. Demo says, I was thinking about going to KC Pride this weekend. Yeah, that'd be fun. I will be working, unfortunately, all weekend, but those are fun. The plot of the Jurassic World trilogy was so disappointing. Pretty much, yeah, just like it makes Jurassic Park 3 look like the goddamn Shawshank Redemption.
It does. It's so fucked up that it did that. But like I said, the battle at Little Big Rock, I think that's what it's called.
Something like that.
The battle at Big Rock, okay. And that was a short film, man. I cannot believe that they just didn't do more with that, man.
Yeah.
That thing was so good. It's 8 minutes. Running time is 8 minutes. And they give us this tease, and that was the best of the sequels, right? I mean, I'd consider that better than Jurassic World, hands down. Now, Jurassic World I like because of some of the member berries they threw in there. But
Snoich 42 says, heading to bed. Love you guys. Stay spooky.
all right. Well, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace
be
out.
Back at it next week.
Thanks for watching. We'll probably be wrapping up here pretty soon anyway.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention a couple things that I'm working on for videos, but like I said, with Jurassic Park, 28 Days Later. 28 Days Later, though, everybody's been talking about a 4K release, I think is happening, or it's rumored to be happening. To be honest, I don't care enough to actually know for sure because I have it on DVD, and that's the quality of the movie.
That is the one thing I was going to say to that movie. Like, why upgrade?
You don't need to. You don't need it. I think the ending of the movie was shot on like good cameras, just the very end though. But
Yeah,
like I
that
don't
last little segment.
yeah, where it's like finally things are breathing up. I think they shot on a different camera, so it looks wildly different intentionally, but
I could make the argument that you could upgrade anything from DVD to Blu-ray for an audio perspective, assuming they have a good quality mix on there if you're into surround sound and you're into all that, because it's uncompressed audio on a Blu-ray.
yeah.
That would be the only reason. Visually, you're not going to get much out of that because that was very low budget shot. And then they're talking about 28 months later, and
It was just been too long for them to make that.
yeah, like that didn't get to happen. So 28 years later, right? You know, because that was the rumored thing for a while. So let's go, okay, days, weeks, months. Okay, well, you passed the timeline for that, and then you are coincidentally damn near actually 28 years later. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the piece there is like, oh, they're like, we shot this on iPhone. And I'm like, yeah, but have you seen the fucking camera rigs they used for that? Like, they had so many fucking iPhones connected to get all the angles and everything. I'm like, wouldn't it have just been
Yeah.
fucking cheaper to just get a regular fucking rig
Well,
at
that's
that
the
point?
thing. They shot it all on iPhones, but they also still mounted professional lenses on those iPhones. And if they are modern iPhones, they can shoot fucking insane 4K shit. Now, yeah, it's not a red camera or whatever, but it's still going to look
Yeah.
incredible. And they used there's a rig I saw that looks like a big old like half C shape of wood. It has 20 iPhones mounted on it, pointed at this guy, and I'm like, what is the fucking point of this?
I mean, I guess in
I don't
theory,
know.
you could do some really badass shit from like changing the angle and expression from all from the same take if you were able to sync it up.
Yeah, we'll
Like,
see.
there's some very visually interesting things you could do with that. But to me, I was like, holy hell. Oh, okay. Because I
Yeah.
saw the same image going around. That's why I brought it up.
Maybe I'll feel differently when the movie comes out because
Yeah.
I'm just being cynical, but
I mean, I feel like I tend to enjoy movies more that way. Like, right, if I don't overread into it. Now, it's hard because, like, your beloved franchises you want to read into, but like this Jurassic World, I've been trying to taper expectations, so I haven't been watching every trailer. I haven't been reading about it. The most I've seen tons of toy news on it here in the past 2 weeks, just because the toys are starting to hit,
yeah.
and I'm good with that.
So before we leave, I did that top 50 horror movies of all time. I am going to do top 50 comedies, top 50 action movies, top 25 alien movies, which I've already filmed. I just need to edit.
Nice.
You want to take any guesses as to what's on there?
Fire in the Sky is going to be on there. Men in Black, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Let me see what other alien movies are out there. Evolution.
Evolution did not make the list, unfortunately.
Ooh, got cut. Okay.
That one is. It's
so bad. It's good.
funny, but yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of went out there a little with some of them. So there's everything. Mostly, it's supposed to be like I just try to stay true to humans and interacting with aliens. Most of
Okay.
the time on Earth, whether it's an alien invasion movie, everything from stuff like Independence Day to Ridley Scott's Alien, because that's
Okay.
still like an alien movie to me,
Interacting
because
with
it's
human,
not
yeah.
like there's nothing like Guardians of the Galaxy or Star Wars on here or Star Trek even. So
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair. That'd
There's
be an interesting list to check out.
yeah, it was a very interesting list to make. There's some comedies, there's some out there stuff, and some fun stuff. Just some stuff you're forgetting too. That's like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
It'll be
yeah.
fun list though. I've also started compiling that for the top 50 comedies and action movies. Anything to guess on there?
Action movies. Oh man, Terminator 2, or Terminator, at least for you. Terminator 2 is probably more the action movie. I'd say Terminator is more of a thriller, sci-fi.
I put Terminator on my top 50 horror movies of all time.
I mean, it fucking was. So yeah, that's terrifying. But Terminator 2 for sure. That's got to be on there somewhere at least. did you put Rush Hour or some shit on there? I know you're a big fan of those Jackie Chan movies for a minute.
I think it was on the initial list, but I didn't put it because I was like, that's more of a comedy. If anything, that's going to go on my comedy list. But there's
Okay.
comedies I like more than that movie, so it's not going to make it on the list.
Gotcha. Okay.
I
Point
included.
Break.
Well, I'm not going to
Fast
tell
and
you if it's on
Furious.
there, but yeah, those are kind of like more in the vein of. I also put some movies that are like some people would say more as like action adventure or even like action horror.
Okay.
But it's like, let's just say I did not put Jaws on my top 50 horror movies of all time. It wasn't on there, but Terminator was, because Terminator feels like a slasher movie more than Jaws to me. But I understand that's a hot take. So, there could be potentially movies like that or Twister on this list, because I'm not going to make like a natural disaster, top 50 natural disasters.
Yeah, because you're going to just fucking run out of movies, right? Or you're going to
Right.
be having shit on that list that has no right being on any list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, lots of 80s and 90s stuff. That's a fun list too. And the comedy list, again, I'm still narrowing stuff down on there because that's a hard one. Obviously, there's some very obvious choices.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you got plenty in the works, and then yeah, we've got all the summer movies going to be hitting pretty quick.
Yep.
Got Ghostbusters Day coming up next weekend. We'll see if anything worthwhile comes out of that. Not holding my breath because we're in a holding pattern there.
Yeah. Well, that's for the most part Jurassic Park 28 Days Later for this month, and then we've also got I Know What You Did Last Summer in July and Fantastic Four, so we'll be talking about those as well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to see Jurassic World at the drive-in though, just to get that experience. We have only got one drive-in left in town, and they did announce they're going to have that showing. So I'm going to try to get a group of people to go out to that one. I think that'll be cool.
Together is August 1st, and I don't know if you remember, but we were both really interested in that. It's that one with Dave Franco, I think, and his wife.
Oh yeah,
that looks really cool.
Okay.
We got Toxic Avenger, Mortal Kombat 2, The Running Man, Anaconda. We'll see what else is coming out too, because we've been hearing stuff comes out of nowhere sometimes. And that's what I'm looking for is for some of those.
Well, it's crazy to me because like if we didn't know Running Man was coming, like there's been no marketing to that yet.
Right.
Right. And so we're getting close to the 6-month out mark. So like the trailer's got to be dropping pretty fucking soon.
Or at least the teaser.
Yeah. Like a 30-second teaser, something like that. So at some point you're going to see that.
You think
but
about
like
that
not
movie,
even having a poster out yet, like it's crazy.
You think about that movie though, we're probably going to get a teaser and a poster drop at the same time, and I bet the teaser is going to be like a snippet of like how the game show broadcast is themed. You know what I mean? That'd be the way to market that movie. Like,
yeah, I think that'll be interesting. So I don't know. Looking forward to it.
Yep. Well, that's probably a good spot as any to end it. We've been talking for an hour and a half almost. So
yeah, well, thanks for everyone who joined us in the chat. Appreciate all the comments and conversation there. Really helps keep things interesting for us. So we'll see you back at it next week, and make sure you check out all the other stuff Alec has working on over here on the Ecto Violence channel. And take care. Have an excellent night, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow night around 10 as well, just talking found footage horror and doing Q&A with anyone who's interested. So if you're around, I'll be here then too. If not, we'll be back next Monday. Good night, everybody.